Let's listen to that, listen to that, listen to that. Have you ever found yourself hypnotized by certain moments in music? Mesmerized and transported to a place of great serenity and stillness? Let's explore how you can create this effect in your music. Sit back for a moment and listen to this tranquil passage. It's like musical melatonin. How did it make you feel? Warm? Calm? Let's break this down. We'll start with the simple repeating pattern in the piano right hand. Our simple pattern is in E major and will consist only of alternating dominant degrees descending by an octave, that is the 5th scale degree, and the tonic, the 1st scale degree, returning back to the dominant. These two beats are repeated. This creates a static flow, a calming ambiance. Try slowly playing along. Now, what do we call this repeating pattern? It's referred to as an ostinato, a classical term which in Italian means stubborn.
No, 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 no.
It's similar to a riff in commercial music, a device that is ubiquitous in pop and rock, and is usually played by the electric guitar or electric bass. Ostinati serve a number of purposes. Consider Coldplay's Clocks riff as an example. We can hear that the ostinato establishes tonality, that is, tonal center, in this case E flat.
E flat?
G flat.
All right, lay it on me here.
Modality, that is, mode, in this case, mixolydian. Tempo, that is the rate of pulse, here it's allegro, 131 beats per minute. Meter, that is 4/4, also called quadruple simple. And the rhythmic character, it's syncopated, and these syncopations occur on accented tonic pitches. Another famous example of a right-hand piano ostinato is a German art song from the Romantic era. It's referred to as a Lied, composed by Franz Schubert. It's called Gretchen am Spinnrade, and it's about a woman at a spinning wheel dreaming of her lover's kiss.
Is this a kissing book?
Let's revisit our right-hand ostinato. Underneath this static layer, with the left hand we will plane 3 major triads, which will ascend by whole step: C major, D major, and E major triads. The term planing refers to parallel motion, in which all voices move in the same direction by the same interval. The chords will be voiced in an open manner, that is, with vertical space inserted between the chord factors, as opposed to closed voicing, which is a more compact vertical arrangement of tones. A pedal point or drone refers to a stationary, fixed pitch, one which may be sustained with a tie or rearticulated, and is usually placed in the bass voice, above which harmonies change, producing dissonance. The term pedal refers to the feet, of course, and implies the use of the pipe organ's pedal keyboard. But a pedal can be placed within an inner voice, called internal, or the uppermost voice, called inverted. In this progression, each chord has 5 voices, 2 for the right hand and 3 for the left. The top 2 voices will remain fixed, sitting at the top of all 3 chords. These are double inverted pedal points, and they impart a hypnotic effect. Against this, the lower 3 voices will move in parallel motion as open-voiced major triads. You might have noticed that these 2 pitches at the top correspond to the 2 highest open strings on an acoustic or nylon guitar. The first chord is a resonant C major 7th. a C major triad with an added major seventh above the root, that is, the pitch class B. The second chord is a D major triad with added sixth and ninth above the root. Together they form the scale degrees of a major pentatonic scale, universally known for its serene and calming quality.
Just calm down.
I am calm, I just want my headset.
And finally, an E major triad, the tonic in our local home key. Chords with pedal points often occur in guitar voicings, in which chords share common tones via the instrument's open strings. Here is an example in which the acoustic guitar's lowest open string, sounding E2, will serve as a bass pedal, and the highest two strings, sounding B3 and E4, will serve as double inverted pedals. With the strings in between high up on the guitar's fretboard, three-note chords will be planed up by steps. These open strings, that is, common tones, create a feeling of smooth connection between the chords and produce a kind of stasis, a feeling of warmth and relaxation. Now, let's look at a few examples of famous works with pedal points of three types. Then we'll conclude with a practical technique that you can use to harmonize a melody with pedals. Composers have long associated this type with nature and natural rural peoples tethered to the earth. The gliding dance of the maidens from the Polivetzian dances has a gorgeous melody by Alexander Borodin from his opera Prince Igor, and it's also featured in the musical Kismet as Stranger in Paradise, associated with the late Tony Bennett. Let's first listen to the passage without the use of a tonic pedal, with root position seventh chords, and then with the pedal. Which one did you like better? Be honest now.
Choose wisely.
The use of the dominant as the bass pedal is a favorite of jazz artists and creates a very mysterious effect. Notice the pungent dissonances created by the chord changes occurring over the repeated Gs in the left hand. Next, let's use the tonic degree as a middle voice and look at the riff from 1,000 Miles by Vanessa Carlton. We'll start with the skeletal stripped-down version, a two-voice contrapuntal reduction showing the pop symbol and Roman numeral harmonic implications. Then, let's insert the tonic degree in the middle, repeating the syncopated rhythm. And finally, we'll break the vertical harmonic intervals in the right hand to animate the texture.
Good.
In the overture to Igor Stravinsky's neoclassical ballet Pulcinella, the composer places the third degree, called the mediant, in the middle of the right hand. The result is a variety of modern-sounding dissonances. First, let's isolate this pitch and hear it in rhythm, and then listen to it within the full texture. For our last example, in the March from Superman, John Williams uses repeated tonic notes in the uppermost voice, with diatonic parallel thirds underneath, performed with staccato articulations in the horns. Here is an easy and effective harmonization technique that you can use based upon a famous melody from Finlandia by Jean Sibelius. We'll first harmonize it diatonically using only the 1, 4, and 5 chords, what we call the primary triads, and then we'll employ first inversion to make the bass more stepwise and melodic in nature. Let's start with a tonic triad in root position. Recall that the standard procedure is to double the root, which we've done. Thus we have 2 roots, 1/3 and 1/5. The next chord is the dominant triad in first inversion. It's a B flat major triad with a D in the bass, the 3rd. So let's sketch that in. The 5th is in the soprano melody. In this case, we're not going to double the root because that would involve a leap when it's really not necessary, but we don't want to follow E flat with D here because that would give us parallel octaves between alto and bass. So let's move the alto in contrary motion to the bass. And when a primary triad is in first inversion, it's standard to double the soprano voice. And we can either rearticulate or combine the rhythmic durations of the common tone. Then, for the 1 chord, we can return back to the same voicing from which we left. And finally, we have the subdominant triad in first inversion. That's A flat major over C. Let's sketch in the note C in the bass. And what about the doubling? Again, this is a primary triad in first inversion, so we'll double the soprano voice, which has the root this time, A flat. And we have a common tone which can be rearticulated in the alto voice. The result is simple and hymn-like, but a bit plain.
This is where the fun begins.
By fixing the tonic and dominant degrees as internal pedals within the middle voices, that is, the alto and tenor, the result is a more complex, lush, and modern sound. We've also created a suspension from the bass in measure 1 and an added second to the 4 chord. So, can chords control you? Well, they can undoubtedly exert an influence on your psyche. Ostinati, pedals, and planing have been, and still are, employed by composers to create a tranquil and hypnotic effect. I hope I've earned your like and subscription. Would you leave me a comment if you found this to be helpful? See you in the next video!